What it do, boss?
What it do, man? Salute to the Premier Madden League. Salute to the Gaming Wild Black Squad. It's your main man, Drama Man 728, coming to y'all with the Premier Madden League Game of the Week, Week 1, post-game interview with the victor. We had the Detroit Lions, winners of the NFC North Division last year, facing off with Q. Q got it. the champion of the NFC West. Well, he was second place in the NFC West, but he made it to the AFC Finals, AFC Conference Championship game last year. This was the game of the week in everybody's mind. May be the rematch of the Super Bowl, but for everyone else, the facing off of two of the playoffs surprises in the NFC and the AFC last year, to me, was the game of the week. Now, there was a lot of talk coming into this game. There was a lot of discussion of, the inability for anyone to maintain the running attack of the Chargers with Melvin Gordon. A lot of questionability concerning your talent, seeing as though you won that game in the playoffs in the wild card round on the last second wildcat run. What would you like to say to all the haters and the doubters out there, Lions, that said, a lot of people were vocal about you not being able to win this game against the Chargers? Is there anything you would like to say to them at this moment?
First off, I want to say that Wildcat call against Z-Star, that was a beautiful call. People talk about that I just picked a play at random and just went with it. But I've explained it multiple times, either I'm going to score a touchdown on this play, I'm going to get tackled for no gain or lose 3 yards and game's over. So my mindset going into that play was, I can come out in 5 wide or, some kind of heavy 4 wide receiver set and just chunk it up. But I knew that I only had one play because I didn't have any timeouts. And so I'm thinking, he's going to put all of his nickelbacks on the field and I have no chance. So I'm like, if I run the ball here of some sort, maybe I can weave him a little bit and get in the end zone. So that's the thought process behind that play call. So last season was actually my worst season in PML at 10-6. I still made the playoffs, but I actually won the division for the first time. But at 10-6, I wasn't really happy with my season. My first season here, I won 13 games. My second season, I won 12. So, I've kind of declined each season. So, I went back and looked at a couple of my games, especially looked at a lot of stats personally for my team. And I turned the ball over a lot offensively, threw a lot of interceptions, especially last year and the year before. I believe I had more interceptions than I did touchdowns. So my mindset coming into this game against Q, I knew that everyone knows that Q's going to try to run the ball. It's just how well can you stop it. So I had in my mind, if I can get up early and play kind of like a ball control offense and force him to pass, then I got the game in the bag. So the game started out with perfectly the way I wanted to. At the end of the first quarter, I was up 21-7. And so I was like, okay, I can play ball control, for a good while and still try and put some points up on the board. Then I kind of shot myself in my own foot in the second quarter. I didn't score any points in the second quarter, and Q scored 14. So going into halftime, it was tied. Mm-hmm. So I probably got a little too conservative with my play calling. So then I scored one touchdown in the third, and he ended up tying it in the fourth at one point. And then I ended up scoring 10 unanswered. I had a big run with Ty Johnson. I can't remember how long it was, but it was probably close to 50-60 yards and for a touchdown. And the next possession I was able to get an interception because Q was having to pass. So the game plan didn't go as well as I wanted it to, but I did still force him into a lot of passing situations. He actually had 300 yards passing, so he threw the ball, but at the same time he threw 7 interceptions.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I wanted to do. I kind of wanted to force him to pass, which I'm sure that's a lot of people's game plans. But the way I've built my defense, especially my D line, it's majority of them are like run stoppers. So between 24 carries between both Gordon and Eckler, he only had 88 yards. I feel like I did a pretty decent job of stopping the run. So I think that's like 3.5 yards a carry. So that was the game plan, and I was able to come out on top.
So the game plan going in was to force Q to pass, stop the run game, and with these monsters up front, the Lions of Detroit, you were able to stop that rushing attack, cause him to pass the ball, and when Q was forced to pass the ball, you were fairly confident that your secondary would be able to cover. And they did that, netting, 6 interceptions?
Yeah, I had 7 interceptions, and then I also forced a fumble on a punt return of his. I was able to hit stick his returner. He didn't fair catch it, and he coughed it up. I believe I ended up scoring on that drive.
7 interceptions. Is there anything that you were? Well, I ain't gonna say. I don't want to give away any more of your game planning. But you forced him out of the run. Now, what happened with Melvin Gordon getting injured? Because I see he only had 10 carries, and Austin Eckler had 14. What was the story on that?
So I believe Melvin went down maybe in the middle of the second quarter. Everybody knows that Q wants to run the ball, so I kept stacking the box, kind of begging him to pass. Something specific that I kind of did with my defense that was kind of different than what I normally do. So I actually have Deshaun Hand playing D tackle for me now. He used to play end, but I still have Ashawn Robinson as my second D tackle, and he's like an 86. So what I was doing is I was getting in a 3-4 defense, and I was putting both my D tackles in the game. And so I had Ashawn playing, head up the center, and I had Hand as D tackle as well. Which would normally be an end spot, and I had my other end, Trey Flowers, in there, and my second end, Armstrong, I actually subbed him in as an outside linebacker position, and I never put him in coverage. I don't think, maybe 1 or 2 plays I did, but he was blitzing every play, so it was kind of just like a funky 3-4 that was kind of just a really heavy set.
I got you. And so it had the desired effect of stopping the run or minimalizing the run, and then forcing him to be confident with throwing the ball so that you could let that secondary take advantage.
Yeah, and with that 3-4 defense, what I was doing is just about every play I was bringing my D line together and then spreading my linebackers, because Q's either going to run a dive or he's going to run a stretch
or a dive stretch.
Or a dive stretch.
Or a dive stretch.
So I was collapsing that D line to take away the dive. I was spreading my linebackers to take away the stretch. And, I was just relying on my user to fill the holes. And so I was able to do a good job of that.
And let me ask you this. Okay, so I see here that you had 169 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. You were sacked 6 times, and you went 6 for 15. 15 attempts is not a lot. Was this a reflection of the defense putting you in good positions in short field with the interceptions, or was there something that you saw that coming into the game that you would be able to take advantage of him running the ball versus dropping back and passing? Because you went 18 rushes for 158 with Ty Johnson. You had Ken Hamler, I'm assuming, on a wide receiver sweep.
Yeah.
And you got Austin Jackson, got a couple of runs there. Coming into the game, were you planning to run and then you utilize the run to lead to your pass, or is that just kind of how the game unfolded with all the turnovers?
Kind of reflecting on, the end of my last season, how I said, I turned the ball over. I kind of wanted to limit my passing game a little bit, didn't want to create too many mistakes. And, I knew I was going against Bosa, and I'm thinking, whenever I do pass, I do like kind of those medium to long shots, kind of spread the defense out, but I knew that I wouldn't really be able to hit those a lot with Bosa in the game. So I tried to take that away, but I didn't do a great job of it, because I believe Bosa still sacked me like 4 times. But I knew that Bosa was coming off the edge, and he's just about unstoppable. So the game plan was, kind of like I said, that just that ball control. I still threw some passes, but I kind of relied on the run game more, because normally I feel like I'm a little bit heavier in the passing game than I am in the running game. So I kind of tried to flip it this game to be a little bit more heavier in the running game than I was the passing game.
All right. Well, it all worked out for you, man. You got the victory week 1. Now week 2, you're going on the road. You're going to play the Packers. No, you're going to be home versus the Packers. The Packers coming in with a new user. They got new season, new team. Have you done any scouting? What's your feelings facing the Packers next week? And how does it feel having gotten a victory over the NFC West, seeing as though you have the rest of that division to play this season?
Yeah, this was definitely a big win for me. It's my 2 division mates, the Bears and the Vikings, both lost to AFC West opponents in week 1. So I'm actually tied with the Packers. We both won, so the division went 2-2. The Packers played the NFC West. They played the Rams, so probably a little bit of an easier opponent there. But I actually got to play the Packers in preseason. I actually played them last week, preseason week 4. I was able to come out on top 42-14 in that game. Mm-hmm. He was actually beating me at the beginning of the game, but for the most of the game I played my backups. I didn't want to risk any of my X factor receivers or running backs or superstar tight end getting hurt, so most of the backup played for me. So he was actually beating me to start the game, but then in the second half, whenever it was backups on backups, I was able to take advantage. I think he likes to run the ball a lot. I noticed some things in that game that I kind of wrote down on my notepad that I think I can look forward to in our game. That his tendencies. He's a cool guy. We talked in the DMs. He asked me some stuff about the league, and so I think it'll be fun matchups. I know that in the other league that I believe it was Nat that brought him in. I'm not quite sure who brought him in, but that secondary league that we were all in for a short time there, I believe he went like 16-0 with the Cowboys. So I'm not making light of it. I'm not saying I beat him 42-14 in the preseason. I'm just going to dog him next week. I'm expecting a better game. But I do know that I have the advantage on him with him being new. That I'm able to use custom playbooks, and he's using these stock playbooks. So I know that I have that advantage. But I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a really important game for the division because one of us will be 2-0 and one of us will be 1-1. So it's an important game.
That's what's up, well, we definitely appreciate your professionalism. We definitely appreciate your sportsmanship. But let me cut through some of the coach speak. You heard it here first. Detroit Lions are going to peel back the Packers' necks and shit down their throats. It's going to be atrocious. It's going to be worse than what happened in the preseason. He's going to handily establish himself as the nut dropper of the NFC North, and everyone is going to be playing catch up because he took care of business getting the AFC West out the way. He's going to take care of business in his division, and we look forward to seeing good things from you this season. I appreciate you for coming on after the game. What I'm saying? Week 1 victory. Now, I got to say, I doubted you. I doubted you when I gave my predictions. I didn't have you winning this week 1.
So, I heard you had me at 8-8, so I took a little disrespect to that. So
hey, bulletin board material, baby. Somebody got to light some fire up under your ass in here. You understand?
Pressure makes diamonds, right?
For sure. Old bust pipes, goddammit. One way or another, we're going to find out what you're made of.
You got to catch me week 3, though. That's when I play my boy Kurt.
For sure. We're gonna post game that one. That might be the game of the week because again, another playoff matchup with the NFC and the AFC, and a lot of the games between the NFC North and the AFC West are going to be prime time games because of how successful you guys were last year. Now, NFC North had a tough schedule last year, so you guys all fell short. But in the last week of the season, everybody almost was vying for a playoff spot. So. The way that the league is set up, the way that the organization and the structure and the different divisions, it's a tough game every week, and you hate to get behind the game. So you took care of business on a Monday night, man. Week 1, congratulations to you. I'm gonna let you get up out of here and celebrate.
Appreciate you.
No sweat. Salute to the Lions. After we get him off of here, I'm gonna see if we can get the Chargers to come through. We can get the Chargers to come through, then we can complete the post-game cipher. Reached out to the Lions coach, tried to catch him at the lockers, but it doesn't seem like they are in a talking mood. And so with that, you guys can look forward to more of this at the end of every week. The game of the week You understand? And we will do post-game interview with the coaches if we can get both coaches of availability. But you heard it here first. Lions taking week 1 against the Chargers, showing everybody that last year wasn't a fluke, that what he did in the playoffs against the Redskins wasn't a fluke. Wanted to clear the air and let everybody know that that was just smart play calling. He was just a coach taking advantage of the situation, and he's proving that it wasn't a fluke by taking care of business here week 1. Salute to the Premier Madden League. Salute to the Game and Wild Black Squad. It's your man, Drama Man. I'll holler at y'all.